Hi everyone and welcome to FPI, free practice impression of the US Grand Prix. I'm Beatrice from MotorLat and today we're going to discuss the free practices and of course the news that were very interesting this week. So we're beginning with a very strong showing from Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes. Of course, they have been plotting something different on the long runs, testing the ultra soft and the soft tyre as well. The pace has been very good on both tyres, so probably with the setup they are going to bring some extra dominance to the table. And also on the Valtteri Bottas side, I have to say that I'm very impressed. He might be a genuine podium contender after being a bit under the weather recently, but now I think that he has his confidence issues sorted, so maybe he can do well for the podium and maybe battle it out with the two Red Bulls. Max Verstappen has been the stronger driver between the two. He was second in the FP2. And obviously he has been trying something just like Lewis Hamilton, so probably he will be very strong on the podium, and on the strategy they will go on similar paths. So this is a thing to keep an eye on. While Daniel Ricciardo was a bit detached from the teammate and the top, he was fifth, closer to the Ferraris than to his teammate and Mercedes. But anyway, Red Bull is looking stronger than Ferrari, definitely. They have been, on the contrary, very average, and Sebastian Vettel has been reporting something weird with the car. He felt some jelly sensation on the pedal, so they double-checked, triple-checked, and then they decided to replace the chassis completely, and a new monocoque will be scrutinized this morning. So we're waiting for the news, but anyway, Ferrari has brought a change in order to have, hopefully and finally, a trouble-free weekend, which they really need. Otherwise, this will be a title-deciding weekend for Lewis Hamilton. And then 7th is Fernando Alonso, the freshie of the deal extension with McLaren. It's a long-term commitment, even though he's not giving any details about that. Obviously, he's not going to compete in the Indy 500 for next year, as probably the McLaren Renault might be just a little more competitive than the McLaren Honda, so he will be busy maximizing opportunities throughout the whole season. So he's to a great 2018 for McLaren and Fernando Alonso, and he's been very convincing today. Even though in the midfield it's going to be a matter of thousandths of a second, it's going to be an extremely tight contention. He came out on top yesterday, and hopefully he will maintain that for today, for qualifying. And Stoffel Vandoorne, on the contrary, has been suffering a bit. He was 15th yesterday, and he's going to be penalised. So that is looking better for Fernando Alonso, definitely. And also for Williams, that might be a great chance. I mean, Felipe Massa was 8th, while Lance Stroll has been suffering from problems. Yesterday, the mechanics were working on his exhaust. But anyway, nothing major. And today, they can fight it out for the Q3. With Force Indias, of course, they're always there. They are 4th in the constructors, so they're very consistent. They're doing extremely well. And this is obviously looking great for the team, as Austin might be a good track for India and anyway Mercedes-powered cars. Renault was very close to the top 10 with the newest signee, Carlos Sainz and Nico Hülkenberg, but this is going to be a shame because the two are going to be separated this weekend, as Nico Hülkenberg has to honour a penalty due to his several problems on the power unit, while Carlos Sainz can maybe fight in the midfield in full force. So we will have to wait until Mexico in order to see the contention between these two new teammates, and we might have a preview of what 2018 is going to look like for them. And then in 13th position we have Daniel Kvyat, the returning Daniel Kvyat in Toro Rosso, and this weekend he's racing alongside the New Zealander and winner of the Le Mans 24 Hours, Brendan Hartley, which is currently replacing Pierre Gasly, who has to, on the contrary, race in the Suzuka season finale of Super Formula. So Brendan, of course, was behind Daniel, but this is actually predictable. But anyway, he was doing great. He was 17th. So hopefully there's more room for improvement for Brendan, and we'll see a great weekend for the two Toro Rosso, which anyway has won the media this weekend with the return of the driver they had sacked technically a while ago, and with the arrival of a new and prominent motorsport personality such as Brendan Hartley. And then we might see a Haas which has been struggling a bit, but probably they will get everything sorted and will have a decent home Grand Prix. Romain Grosjean was 20th and had problems during the FP2, but hopefully and probably for qualifying everything will be sorted out. And then I absolutely cannot deny and ignore the rumors that have been sprouting from Sky Deutschland. They actually are claiming that next year Arriva is going to be replaced by Mattia Binotto, which is a very, very dramatic move. President Sergio Marchionne has been hinting at a major shake-up concerning the engineers after the shortcomings of Ferrari, the recent ones. But maybe this shake-up is concerning just one engineer and not the whole group and the whole structure. So that might be a hint of Mattia Binotto taking over and Arriva just being replaced. I mean, it's likely to happen. It's a natural change in the process, and obviously it's a change of approach as well, from a charismatic figure such as Maurizio Arrivabene to a completely different one, which is the technician, the technical figure, Mattia Binotto. And this, of course, reminds me of the French Enlightenment philosophy, where Saint-Simon was actually promoting a government made of technicians, so engineers, doctors, and anyway, personalities that were with a very scientific approach, and they also obviously were technicals. So that didn't pay off because it was a utopian kind of philosophy, and that might not be working properly, since Ferrari needs a guide who is perfectly aware of the identity of the team. And I even though I think that Binotto is a very valid figure on the engineering point of view, I'm not sure whether he can guide the team properly, even though obviously some technical knowledge can bring something extra to the table, and not all team principals are technical, so that might probably be an advantage. But Ferrari is a bit lost recently in terms of identity and on this psychological way of thinking, so I don't know whether Binotto is the right choice to actually restyle the whole approach and the whole result of Ferrari. They need kind of a dictatorship, but a very soft dictatorship. This has been a good compromise between a strong guide and a lenient and constructive way of thinking, and I don't know if there's anyone embodying this characteristic. So we will see how it develops. If this rumor is true, we'll see. And anyway, leave your questions on Twitter on the hashtag #AskBeatrice_MotorLat, and from this weekend you can also leave them in Spanish, and I will be answering them in Spanish of course tomorrow. I'm looking forward to receiving them, so if you have anything to ask about this Binotto Arrivabene thing, about Carlos Sainz of Renault, about Fernando Alonso's deal extension, about Verstappen's deal extension, feel free to ask and I will be very happy to answer them. So I will see you with Beatrice Sector tomorrow, and see you soon.